The planet was quiet now. Too quiet. Smoke rose from broken cities, and the sky was filled with gray clouds. For years, humanity had fought a war it thought would never end. Now, the weapons were silent, the soldiers weary, and the cities in ruins. The war was supposed to be over. Everyone thought so. Captain Ryland moved slowly through the streets of what had once been a busy city. His boots crunched over shattered glass and broken metal. Buildings leaned at impossible angles, and cars lay overturned in piles. The only sound was the wind, whispering through the empty streets. Even the birds had gone. Ryland's team, a small group of elite soldiers, followed closely behind him. Each step was careful, each movement cautious. They had fought many battles together, but this silence felt strange, dangerous almost. "Wrong, nothing here," muttered Sarah, one of the squad's scouts. Her eyes scanned every alley, every shadow. She had sharp instincts, and instincts had kept her alive more times than she could count. "Too quiet," Ryland said. He tightened his grip on his rifle. "I don't like this. The war should be over, but my gut tells me it's not." The team moved forward, past a collapsed building. Ryland stopped suddenly. There, etched into the side of a broken wall, were strange symbols. They glowed faintly, pulsing like a heartbeat. He knelt to examine them. "These weren't here before," he whispered. "Something is coming." Sarah nodded. "I felt it too. Something is wrong." A distant sound broke the silence. At first it was soft, a low hum that vibrated through the ground. Then it grew louder, more intense. The squad froze. Birds screamed in the distance, as if warning them of danger. "Enemy?" Ryland asked. His voice was steady, but his heart raced. Sarah shook her head. "Not like before. This is different. I've never felt anything like it." The hum turned into a roar. Dust and debris lifted into the air, swirling around them. The ground shook beneath their feet. Ryland signaled for his team to take cover. From the ruins ahead, a shadow moved. It was huge, taller than any human, with glowing eyes that pierced the darkness. The creature or machine didn't move like anything they had fought before. It was fast, intelligent, and terrifying. Ryland raised his rifle, but the thing didn't attack. It watched, waiting, calculating. Every soldier in the squad held their breath. Time seemed to stretch as they stared at the threat. Finally, Ryland whispered, "It's not over. We thought the war ended, but it never did." Sarah swallowed hard. "Then we fight. We have no choice." The squad moved cautiously, keeping the creature in sight. Every instinct screamed at them to run, to hide, to survive. But running was not an option. Humanity had survived countless attacks, countless battles. They could not surrender now, not when hope was so fragile, yet still alive. Ryland thought of the civilians who had died, the cities that had burned, and the families that had been torn apart. He thought of the countless soldiers who had given their lives for a future that now seemed uncertain. "We move," he said finally. "We find out what this is and we fight, no matter what it takes." The creature took a step forward. The ground shook with its weight. Then it vanished, disappearing into the smoke and ruins as quickly as it had appeared. The squad blinked, unsure if they had seen it at all. Sarah knelt, examining the glowing symbols again. "They're a warning," she said. "Something is coming. Something bigger than us. Something we've never faced before." Ryland looked at her, his jaw tight. "Then we prepare. Humanity doesn't surrender. Not now. Not ever." The wind blew through the city, carrying the faint echoes of the past battles. Ryland's squad gathered, knowing that this was only the beginning. The war they thought was over had returned, stronger, smarter, and more dangerous than ever. And humanity, tired and battered though it was, refused to give up. As night fell, the city grew darker, and shadows stretched across the streets. The squad set up camp in a ruined building, keeping watch. Every sound made them tense. Every movement in the shadows a possible threat. Sleep was impossible. Danger was all around them. Ryland stared out at the horizon, where faint fires burned still. He clenched his fist. "If this is the last battle," he whispered, "then we will not fall. Not today. Not ever." Far away, the hum returned. Louder this time. Something waited beyond the smoke, waiting for the right moment to strike. And humanity, exhausted but unbroken, prepared to stand and fight once more. The war was not over, and it never would be not until humanity had declared, with every ounce of strength, that they were not done. Dawn broke over the ruined city, pale sunlight slipping through clouds of smoke. The squad had survived the night, but none of them had slept. Every creak of debris, every shadow moving in the wind, kept them alert. The memory of the enormous creature from the previous night lingered in their minds. Something was coming, something worse. Captain Ryland paced the top of a collapsed building, scanning the horizon. Broken towers stretched like jagged teeth into the sky. Fires burned in the distance, smoke curling into the clouds. The city was dead, but it felt alive with something unseen, something watching. Sarah crouched beside a broken wall, scanning the ruins with her binoculars. "Captain, look at this," she said. Ryland moved closer. Through the smoke, he saw strange figures moving in the distance. Not soldiers, not humans. Shapes that shimmered almost like ghosts, but solid enough to cast shadows. "They're scouting," Sarah whispered, "or preparing something." Ryland's jaw tightened. So the enemy never left. They just waited. Hitting the team fell silent, listening. A faint humming filled the air. Unlike the creature from last night, this sound was soft but constant, like a heartbeat under the ground. It made the hairs on their necks stand. "Could be some kind of signal," Ryland said, "or a warning. Either way, we need to find out." Sarah shook her head. "No one in human history has faced anything like this. The war isn't over, it's changing." The squad moved cautiously through the streets, alert for any sign of danger. Broken cars, shattered buildings, and scorched ground made every step treacherous. The silence was deafening, but every so often, a faint rustle or distant hum reminded them that something was out there. Suddenly, a loud crash echoed from a nearby alley. The team dove for cover. Dust and debris rained down from a collapsed wall. When the dust settled, a small drone-like machine lay in the rubble. Its sensors flickered weakly, damaged but still operational. Ryland picked it up, examining the device. "They're not done," he said quietly. "They've been sending these drones to watch us, learn our patterns." Sarah frowned. "They're studying humans, watching us, waiting for the right moment to strike. And I think they're smarter than we imagine." Ryland nodded grimly. "Then we can't wait. If we wait, we die. We need answers, and we need a plan." The squad continued their exploration, finding more strange devices, glowing symbols etched into walls, and signs of movement in the rubble. Every discovery added weight to the growing fear they were not alone, and the enemy was preparing something massive. Hours passed. Tension grew. Every shadow seemed to move with intent. Every sound seemed like a signal. Humans had survived countless wars, but this felt different. The enemy was not just a force of destruction. They were intelligent, patient, and calculating. Back at the squad's temporary base, Sarah studied the drone. "These devices, they aren't just for observation. They're communicating. Something big is coming." Ryland's eyes narrowed. "Then we alert the command. Humanity needs to know. We cannot fight this blind." But as they attempted to transmit their findings, the signals were jammed. Every attempt to communicate with other human outposts failed. A cold dread filled the room. The enemy had cut them off. "Isolation," Sarah whispered. "They want us alone, to weaken our morale, to make us doubt ourselves." Ryland clenched his fist. "They're wrong if they think we'll give up. We've survived worse. Humanity refuses to surrender." The squad moved to the city center, hoping to find more clues. They discovered a library, surprisingly intact amid the ruins. Inside, books and old records showed hints of previous enemy attacks, patterns, and strategies. Someone or something had been planning this war long before humanity had even noticed. "Look at this," Sarah said, pointing to a map marked with strange symbols and locations. "They've been preparing for years, and we're just walking into their trap." Ryland studied the map. Fear gnawed at him, but determination burned brighter. "Then we fight smarter. We can't rely on hope alone. We need strategy, courage, and every resource humanity has left." Night fell again. The city, once silent, seemed to breathe with anticipation. Strange lights flickered in the distance. Moving too fast and too precisely to be natural, Ryland's team gathered on a rooftop, watching the horizon. Every shadow could hide a threat. Every sound could signal an attack. Sarah whispered, "This is bigger than we thought. Bigger than any human has faced before." Ryland looked at his team. "Then we become bigger. We adapt. We survive. Humanity will stand. We won't give up. Not today. Not ever." Far away, the humming grew louder, echoing across the ruins. Something moved through the shadows, planning, calculating, waiting, and humanity, though weary and battered, began preparing to fight once more. The war was not over. The signs were clear. Something terrible was coming, and humans would face it. The city slept uneasily under a sky heavy with smoke. The humans in Captain Ryland's squad were restless. Every sound, every flicker of light reminded them of the unknown threat moving silently outside the ruins. Yet, despite exhaustion and fear, there was a determination that burned brighter than ever. Humanity was battered but not broken. Ryland stood atop a collapsed building, surveying the city. "We cannot wait for them to make the next move," he said. His voice was steady, but there was fire behind it. "If we do, we die. We need to strike first, even if we don't know everything." Sarah crouched beside him, studying a map of the city and its outskirts. "We've survived every battle because we adapted," she said. "We've survived because we never gave up, and we will survive this too." Ryland nodded. "Then we prepare. We fight smarter, stronger, and together. Humanity will not surrender." The squad moved quickly, coordinating with other small human groups scattered across the ruins. Engineers worked tirelessly, repairing old weapons, building traps, and creating barriers. Civilians who had survived the war helped where they could, carry in supplies, sharing information, and offering encouragement. Everyone played a part. A young soldier named Kieran approached Ryland. "Captain, the enemy has been watching us," he said. "Every movement we make is recorded by their drones. But we've also learned something. They are organized, yes, but they are predictable. They have patterns." Ryland's eyes narrowed. "Then we exploit those patterns. We turn their predictability against them." As night fell, the squad gathered around a fire in the center of the ruined city. The flames danced across their faces, highlighting exhaustion, determination, and fear. Every human there knew the stakes. Every human there understood the danger, and yet no one faltered. "We may be small," Ryland said, addressing the group, "but our courage is limitless. We've faced impossible odds before. We've survived because we fight, because we adapt, and because we refuse to surrender. Tonight, we take a stand. Tonight, we show them what humanity is capable of." Sarah stepped forward, her eyes shining. "They think we are weak. They think we are finished. But they do not know us. They do not know what we are capable of. We will not hide. We will not run. We will stand. And we will fight." The squad cheered quietly, a sound that carried through the empty streets. It was not loud, but it was enough to signal determination, enough to signal hope, enough to signal defiance. Ryland led his team to the outskirts of the city, where reports had indicated strange activity from the enemy. The shadows were alive with movement drones, strange machines, glowing symbols. Every step forward was cautious, calculated, and tense. Suddenly, a low hum vibrated through the ground. The team froze. Dust and debris lifted around them as a massive shadow emerged from the ruins ahead. It was unlike anything they had faced before. Faster, taller, and intelligent. Its glowing eyes scanned the humans, studying them like they were part of an experiment. Ryland raised his rifle. "Steady," he whispered. "We know they watch us. We know they wait. But they do not know our courage. They do not know our resolve." The creature or machine paused, tilting its head as if sensing the human's determination. Then it vanished into the darkness as quickly as it had appeared. Sarah exhaled sharply. "It's a warning. They are testing us." Ryland clenched his fists. "Then let them watch. Let them test. We will not falter. Humanity stands, and we will not surrender." The team returned to the city center, working through the night. Every human was busy preparing defenses, setting traps, gathering intelligence, and sharing strategies. It was a city alive with purpose, a city refusing to be broken. Ryland looked at his squad. exhausted yet determined. Tomorrow we strike back. We fight, even if the odds are against us. We fight because giving up is not an option. We fight because humanity refuses to surrender. Sira nodded, her eyes scanning the horizon. They are coming, she said quietly, and we will be ready. The first signs of dawn appeared, streaks of pale light cutting through the smoke. The city, though ruined, was alive with the heartbeat of defiance. Humans moved through the streets with purpose, their determination unshakable. Ryland took a deep breath. We stand now, we fight tomorrow, and we survive no matter what. Humanity will not fall. We will not give up. The war may have tried to crush us, but we are still here. We are still fighting, and we will continue to fight until the end, far beyond the city. In the shadows of the enemy's hidden forces, the hum grew louder. Machines moved, creatures stirred, and plans continued. But humanity had made its choice. They would not surrender. They would not hide. They would stand and they would fight. The war was far from over. But for the first time in a long while, hope burned in the hearts of humans. And that hope, fierce and unbroken, would light the way through the darkness to come. The sun had barely risen when Captain Ryland's squad prepared for their first real attack. The city was quiet, but every shadow felt alive. Humans had spent days gathering intelligence, setting traps, and studying enemy patterns. Now it was time to act. Ryland checked his rifle and gear, making sure everything was ready. Today we strike, he said. His voice was calm, but every soldier felt the weight of responsibility. We may be few, but we are strong. We may be outnumbered, but we are human. And humans never give up. Sarah studied the map one last time. The enemy drones have predictable paths. If we move carefully, we can hit their weak points and avoid detection. Kieran, the youngest soldier, swallowed nervously. And if we fail? He asked. Ryland looked at him steadily. Then we fight until the last breath. But we will not fail. Humanity refuses to surrender. The squad moved out, their footsteps silent on the rubble-strewn streets. Broken buildings and debris made every step dangerous, but their determination kept them steady. They avoided open spaces, sticking to shadows and narrow alleys ahead. The enemy had set up a small base, guarded by drones and strange devices that pulsed with faint light. Ryland signaled to the squad to split into two groups. One would create a diversion, drawing the drones' attention. The other would strike at the heart of the base. Sira and Kieran moved forward, careful to stay hidden. Their hearts pounded with a mix of fear and anticipation. Every step brought them closer to the unknown. Suddenly, a drone hovered nearby, its sensors scanning the street. Sira froze, holding her breath. The machine hovered closer, lights flickering across its metallic body. Slowly, silently, she pressed a button on her device. The drone's sensors jammed, and it drifted sideways. Harmless. Kieran exhaled softly. Close call, he whispered. Cyril nodded. Too close. Meanwhile, Ryland led the diversion team. They set small charges in empty buildings, creating explosions that lit up the city. Smoke and debris rose, drawing the attention of enemy drones. Sirens wailed from the hidden base, and machines began moving toward the noise. The strike team, led by Sarah, moved silently toward the heart of the enemy base. They could see strange equipment, glowing symbols, and small creatures or machines moving with purpose. Every movement was precise, almost intelligent. Ryland's diversion worked perfectly. Drones swarmed toward the chaos, leaving the base lightly defended. Sira signaled to her team, and they moved in swiftly. They planted charges near the enemy equipment, ready to destroy as much as possible. Every second counted. The hum in the base grew louder, and a low vibration ran through the ground, as if the enemy sensed the human presence. Suddenly, a shadow shot across the room, one of the massive creatures from earlier. It moved with terrifying speed, its glowing eyes scanning the intruders. Sira's heart raced. We have to move, she shouted. The squad split, darting between pillars and debris. Kieran fired at the creature, distracting it just enough for the others to reach the exit. The charges were set. Siro pressed the detonator. Explosions ripped through the base, shaking the ground. Smoke and sparks filled the air. The enemy machines screeched, some collapsing, others retreating. The humans ran, dodging debris and falling structures. Finally, they emerged into the open streets. Dust and smoke hung heavy, and the city looked like a storm had passed. The squad regrouped, breathing heavily, hearts pounding with adrenaline. Rylan looked at the destruction. "We did it," he said, though he knew it was only a start. "But they will come back." "They always do." Sarah nodded, scanning the horizon. "We've shown them that humanity fights back. That's all that matters for now. They may be stronger, but they are not unbeatable." Kieran wiped sweat from his brow. "I can't believe we made it alive." Rylan put a hand on his shoulder. "Surviving is not luck. It's determination. It's courage. Humanity stands because we refuse to surrender." Today, we made them see that the squad moved back to their temporary base, knowing the enemy would regroup and retaliate. The first strike had been successful, but the cost was clear. The war was far from over. Every human alive had to prepare for the battles to come. Night fell, and the ruined city grew quiet again. But now, it was a quiet filled with purpose. Humans had taken the first step. They had acted, they had fought, and they had proven that even in the darkest hour, humanity would not bend that far beyond the city. Hidden in the shadows, enemy forces watched the explosions. Machines recorded every detail. Creatures observed every movement, and somewhere in their minds or circuits a plan was forming. Something bigger, smarter, and more dangerous than before. The smoke from the first strike still hung over the city like a heavy curtain. Captain Ryland's squad returned to their temporary base, exhausted but proud. They had fought back, proven that humanity could strike. Yet, beneath the small victories, a shadow of doubt grew. Something was wrong. Reports started coming in from scattered human outposts. Supplies were missing. Communications had been tampered with. Allies who were supposed to hold certain positions had disappeared. The war they had fought so hard to survive now seemed to shift in ways no one expected. Rylan gathered his team in the main room of the ruined building they used as base. "Something is happening," he said quietly. "We have to be careful. We've survived so far because we trusted each other, but now someone may have betrayed us." Sarah's eyes widened. "Betrayed? But we're all humans here. We've been through the same hell together." Kieran shivered. Maybe someone is working with them. The enemy. Maybe they've been here all along." Rylan clenched his fists. "I don't know, but we need to find out, and we need to act fast. If we don't, more people could die." That night, the squad patrolled the streets of the ruined city. Every corner, every shadow felt like a threat. Every sound, footsteps, whispers, machines made their hearts race. But the city was empty. 2 empty dots. Suddenly, a faint signal appeared on one of their scanners. It was weak, distorted, but it pointed to an old warehouse near the outskirts of the city. Sarah frowned. "That signal! It's human! Someone's sending information, but not to us." To the enemy, Ryland's heart sank. "A traitor," he muttered. "Someone we trusted has been feeding them information all along." They approached the warehouse cautiously. The air felt heavier here, thick with tension. Ryland signaled for the squad to spread out. Every step was slow, careful, deliberate. Inside, they found the truth. One of the human groups, who had claimed to be allies, were working with the enemy. Machines hummed around them, glowing symbols pulsing on the walls. The so-called allies were helping the enemy plan their next move. Ryland's jaw tightened. "How could they betray us like this?" he whispered. Sarah shook her head, anger and fear mixing on her face. "They've been hiding it from everyone, using our trust against us." Before they could react, alarms rang out. The warehouse was not just a hideout, it was a trap. Enemy machines activated, blocking the exits. Shadows moved quickly, and creatures similar to the one from before emerged from the darkness. The squad fought fiercely. Bullets flew, explosives detonated, and chaos filled the air. Every second was a struggle for survival. Kieran ducked behind a crate as a glowing machine smashed through the wall. Sarah hurled a grenade, taking out several enemies, but more kept coming. Ryland fought with everything he had. His mind raced, calculating every move, protecting his squad while trying to reach the traitors. But even as they fought, the warehouse trembled. The enemy's forces were stronger than anticipated. Finally, they reached the traitors. Faces pale with fear, eyes wide with realization that their betrayal had been discovered. Rylan raised his weapon. "Why?" he demanded. "Why betray your own people?" One of the traitors, a man named Corin, stammered. We wanted to survive. We thought helping them would keep us alive." Rylan's eyes burned. "Survive? You endangered everyone. Humanity survives because we fight together, because we stand together, not by helping our enemies." Syrah pulled Kieran to safety as the last of the enemy machines collapsed in a controlled explosion. The traitors were captured, but the cost was high. Several humans were injured, supplies were lost, and the squad felt the weight of despair pressing down. Back at their base, the team sat in silence. The betrayal had shaken them, leaving a cold ache in their hearts. Trust had been broken, and fear lingered. The enemy was not just outside, they had infiltrated humanity itself. Rylan stared at the skyline, the ruins bathed in faint moonlight. "We've survived battles we never thought we could," he said quietly. "But this is a different kind of fight, not just against machines or creatures, against fear, against doubt, against betrayal." Syrah placed a hand on his shoulder. "We can recover. We must. Humanity cannot give up now. Not after everything we've lost." Rylan nodded. "You're right. We stand again. We fight again. We may be wounded, but we are not broken. Humanity refuses to surrender." Outside, the wind whispered through the ruined city, carrying with it the distant hum of enemy machines. The danger was growing larger and smarter than before. The war was far from over, and humanity would face more pain, more loss, but they would continue to fight. The squad huddled together that night, tired, scared, but unbowed. They knew the enemy would strike again. They knew more challenges awaited, but they had something the enemy could never understand: courage, hope, and the unshakable will of humans who refused to surrender. The night was dark, but within that darkness, a small light burned. Humanity had been betrayed, but it had not fallen. And from that light, the next battle would be born. Dawn broke slowly over the ruins of the city. The sky was gray, but a faint streak of sunlight cut through the smoke. Captain Ryland's squad had survived the betrayal, but the cost weighed heavily on their minds. Supplies were low, and the city still felt alive with danger. Yet, for the first time in days, there was a spark of hope. Sarah studied the maps, and reports spread across the table. "I've been analyzing the enemy patterns," she said quietly. "There's a flaw, something small, but it's there. They rely too heavily on their machines and their signals. If we disrupt them at the right moment, we can gain an advantage." Rylan leaned over the map, his eyes narrowing. "A weakness?" he asked. "Then we strike, carefully, but decisively. Humanity stands, and today we push back." The squad prepared quickly, repairing weapons, checking explosives, and mapping their route. Word spread to other human groups in the area. Tonight, humanity would take the fight to the enemy. As night fell, the city was alive with cautious movement. Humans crept through alleys, moving like shadows, avoiding patrols and surveillance drones. Rylan led the squad to the outskirts of the enemy-controlled area. Their target was a communications hub, a small, heavily guarded structure where enemy machines coordinated their attacks. Sarah whispered, "If we take this out, we can blind them for hours. It won't destroy them completely, but it gives us a chance to strike elsewhere." Kieran swallowed nervously. "And if we failed?" Rylan's eyes met his. "Then we fight until the last breath. But we will not fail. Humanity refuses to surrender." The squad approached the hub quietly. Enemy drones patrolled the perimeter, their lights scanning the streets. The squad waited, timing their movements carefully. Then, with precision, they struck. Small explosions took out the drones, one by one, while Rylan's team planted charges at the hub's main control center. Suddenly, a loud alarm blared. Lights flashed red, and enemy machines began activating inside the hub. Shadows moved quickly, and the squad prepared for battle. Rylan shouted, "Stay focused! We've trained for this! Humanity stands, and we strike back." The team fought fiercely. Syrah used her explosives to block enemy reinforcements, while Kieran fired carefully at advancing machines. Rylan moved through the chaos, leading the charge, protecting his squad, and ensuring the charges were set properly. The hum of enemy machines filled the air, growing louder. But then, silence. The charges detonated. Sparks flew. Walls collapsed, and the communication hub was destroyed. Enemy signals went dark. Machines stumbled. And for the first time, the humans had control. Syrah's eyes widened. We did it! They're blind! Rylan nodded, though he didn't lower his guard. Not yet! This is just the beginning. We push now. While they're disoriented, humanity fights back. Across the city, human groups coordinated attacks, taking advantage of the enemy's temporary confusion. Machines were destroyed, patrols were scattered, and humans reclaimed key areas of the city. For the first time, they felt the thrill of victory. But the enemy was not defeated. From the shadows, a massive creature emerged, faster and more dangerous than anything before. Its glowing eyes swept the streets, searching for the intruders. Rylan raised his weapon. Everyone stay calm. We've faced worse, and we've survived. Humanity stands, and we will not back down. The creature charged, but the humans were ready. Traps and explosives slowed it, forcing it back into the shadows. Bullets and fire from hidden positions pushed it further. The creature roared, a sound that shook the city, but it retreated at least for now. Syrah exhaled, relief flooding her face. We've done it! At least for now, the tide has turned. Rylan looked at his squad, pride in his eyes. Today, humanity has struck a blow. We've proven we can fight back, even against impossible odds. We may be small, but our courage is limitless. And we will continue to fight. We will continue to survive. Humanity refuses to surrender. As dawn broke fully, the city seemed different. The ruins were still there, but humans moved through the streets with purpose. Fear was replaced by hope, determination, and courage. The war was far from over, but for the first time, humans knew they could win. Far in the distance, the hum returned, quieter now, but deliberate. The enemy was regrouping, planning, and watching. But humanity had taken the first step in turning the tide. And nothing, not machines, not betrayal, not fear could break their spirit. The squad gathered one last time that morning, looking over the city they had fought so hard to protect. The city lay in ruins, yet it had never felt more alive. Captain Rylan and his squad stood atop a broken building, looking out over the streets below. Fires flickered in the distance, smoke curling into the gray sky. Humans moved with purpose, preparing for the battle that would decide the fate of their world. Rylan tightened his grip on his rifle. This is it, he said. The final battle. The enemy has regrouped, stronger than ever, but we are ready. Humanity refuses to surrender. Syrah nodded, her eyes scanning the horizon. They think they can crush us, that fear can stop us, but they've underestimated humans. We fight for each other, for our homes, for the future. Kieran, younger and more nervous than the rest, swallowed hard. And if we fail, he asked quietly. Rylan looked at him with steady eyes. Then we fight until the last breath, but we will not fail. We are human, and humans never give up. From the shadows of the ruined city, the enemy advanced. Drones hummed, machines clanged, and creatures larger than any human had ever seen moved with deadly precision. Glowing eyes pierced the darkness, watching, calculating, striking fear into the hearts of even the bravest soldiers. Rylan signaled his squad. Positions? Humans spread across the streets, using debris and ruins as cover. Traps were set, explosives ready, and every shot counted. The enemy advanced steadily, confident, but unaware of what humanity had learned. The first wave hit. Drones swooped down, machines fired, and creatures roared. But humans held their ground. Syrah's team triggered explosives, sending machines flying. Kieran fired at advancing enemies, saving civilians trapped in the streets. Rylan led charges, pushing back creatures that seemed unstoppable. The battle raged, a clash of strength and courage. Humans were outnumbered, but they fought with intelligence, strategy, and unyielding will. Every loss drove them harder. Every victory fueled their hope. Suddenly, a massive creature, larger than any seen before, emerged from the shadows. Its glowing eyes scanned the battlefield, and a wave of fear washed over the humans. Soldiers hesitated. Civilians froze. But Rylan did not. This is what we fight for, he shouted. For humanity. For the ones we love, we will not surrender. The squad rallied around him, charging forward. Traps slowed the creature, explosives weakened its armor, and together, humans struck with everything they had. The battle was fierce, almost impossible. Yet, humans pressed on. Sarah hurled grenades. Kieran fired with precision, and Rylan fought with unbreakable determination. The creature roared, thrashing through ruins, but humans refused to back down. Inch by inch, they pushed it back. And then, with a final coordinated strike, a mix of explosives, bullets, and sheer courage, the creature fell. Silence blanketed the battlefield. Dust and smoke hung in the air, but humans had survived. The enemy had been defeated, for now Rylan looked around at the squad, at the city, at the people who had refused to give up. "We did it," he whispered. "We survived. Humanity stands." Sarah smiled, wiping sweat and grime from her face. "We've proven something today, that no matter the odds, no matter the fear, we will never surrender." Kieran breathed heavily, awe in his eyes. "We really did it." Rylan gazed at the horizon, where faint fires still burned. The enemy might return. Machines might rise again. Threats might come from the shadows. But humans had learned something stronger than fear or machines: courage, unity, and the will to survive. "We've won this battle," Rylan said. "But the war may never truly end. And that's fine, because humanity will always stand. We will rebuild, we will fight, and we will survive." Across the ruined city, humans cheered quietly but fiercely. Broken though they were, their spirit had never been stronger. The skyline, scarred and battered, reflected the resilience of a species unwilling to be crushed far away. In the depths of enemy territory, sensors and machines had recorded the defeat. The enemy would recover, plan, and strike again. But the message was clear. Humans would never bow, never surrender, never stop fighting. Rylan looked at Sarah and Kieran. "Remember this?" he said. "The war may test us, betray us, and threaten everything we hold dear. But as long as humans stand together, there is hope. As long as we refuse to give up, humanity is unstoppable." Sarah nodded. "And we will make sure every human knows it. Today, tomorrow, forever." The sun finally broke through the clouds, bathing the ruined city in light. Dust rose in the air, carried by the wind. Fires burned still, but they no longer symbolized destruction. They symbolized survival, courage, and defiance. Rylan raised his hand, signaling to the humans in the streets. "Humanity stands. We fight, we survive, and we will never surrender." A roar of agreement echoed through the ruins. Humans had faced death, betrayal, and despair. They had stared into the void and refused to bow. And now, against all odds, they had shown the universe what it truly meant to be human. The war was far from over, but humanity had declared its resolve. And the enemy, no matter how strong, no matter how cunning, would learn this truth. Humans fight, humans endure, and humans never surrender.